one of the responses, obviously, that we've taken has been the Quad and the larger sort of Indo-Pacific policy that we have now become a great champion of. Now, the Quad is an interesting organization. It's perhaps unique in the sense that it isn't military, at least not officially. It's built around technology, about finding global solutions, providing an example. On the technology side, and I think this is important because it goes in directly into what you were talking about, the economics of the future and how diplomacy in India must now be really focused on that. There's these technology coalitions that the Quad has should we say, announced or planning to put together. How successful have we been in getting other countries to join or look at those coalitions in a positive sense?
You know, you are making a somewhat deterministic statement here, because from the last question you said, oh, that leads to Quad. I think if you look at the chronology, I would challenge that straight away for two reasons. In the current incarnation, the Quad actually started in 2017, September of 2017, whereas this round of our difficulties on the India-China border dates back to 2020. So I think to ascribe that as a causal factor, I think you need to be a little more broad-based in the explanation. I think it's important for us as a Quad participant to be very clear that Quad is for something, it is not against somebody. And I don't just say this as a throwaway line because it sounds nice. Because in the last 2 years, we have been able to demonstrate that Quad is for something. That we've been able to show, okay, today you have a pandemic, so can the Quad do something in terms of vaccine? We have sensitivity in terms of technology. Are there things which Quad can do in terms of more trusted and secure technologies? Are there things the Quad can do in terms of promoting reliable and resilient supply chains? Can we work on connectivity projects? Can we cooperate to ensure maritime security and safety? So I would ask you to step back. Don't be over obsessed with one country and one situation. Think of it this way, that the Cold War of two power dominance ended, the unipolar world ended. A certain kind of globalized world, which we saw after that, is now very much a question mark. There are big challenges out there. No single country is able to respond to it by itself. So you are actually seeing a larger international development, which is a bunch of countries whose interests are similar, whose concerns are similar, who have the ability and the confidence to work with each other, come together. Now, I would even suggest to you, and here again I today have a good example to make my case, it doesn't necessarily have to be even in the East Asia or in Southeast Asia. I mean, you've seen that we've also started to engage with a 4-country groupings in West Asia, in the Middle East, India, US, Israel, and the UAE. I would suggest to you that this kind of combos, that countries coming together saying, I'm not interested in a formal relationship. I don't want a detailed, list of obligations and responsibility. I want a practical arrangement where if you and I get along and I get along with somebody else out there, we can sit and work together to our mutual advantage. When it works, it works. One day, if we feel it doesn't work, I mean, we have not invested in something which is a big deal. But I do think that this much more ad hoc, open-minded, open-ended, comfortable way of working of groupings of countries, this is the future that I see.
What are the next set of combos you're working on then?
Oh, you'll have to read about it. So I am not going to tip my hand.